Okay, so I'm going to get us started. So this is Ed Crow with Crow and Associates. I appreciate you joining me today. We are going to do these webinars. Traditionally, we do them every Wednesday and Thursday at 1 o'clock on different topics. So like today, for example, we're just going to do kind of a quick one. We take a break on doing these during AEP. So we're starting back up. This is our first one since AEP. So we're going to keep it kind of light and just talk about our Eno Insurance. Tomorrow, we're kind of diving in a little more where we're going to talk about generating online traffic for a website using blogs. So that's a little more involved, but something I think you would find, or most agents rather, would find very helpful. So we're going to hit that tomorrow. So today we're going to go over, I'll take 2 minutes to go over the programs we offer to agents. We're going to talk about, then we're going to focus on our E&O policy. So we've updated our E&O that we offer to agents, made some good changes to it, I think, that people will find helpful. So we'll go over that. And just a couple other things. For those who haven't done webinars with us before, we do record all of these webinars. So if you register for a webinar with us, but you can't make it, you can't attend, just register and you'll get a copy of the recording whether you attend or not. So that way you can get a copy and watch it at a better time. So again, every Wednesday and Thursday at 1 o'clock, different topics. If anybody has suggestions on topics, please feel free to send them to us. I'm always open to doing any topic that that you'll find useful. So open to suggestions when it comes to topics to do. But like I said, keeping it a little light today. If there's any questions along the way, send them into the webinar and I will answer them for you at the end. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to take a minute to talk about the programs we offer. So just to give you the brief rundown without a lot of detail. So we provide both access to both Connecture and Sunfire to agents at no cost. For those not familiar, Connecture and Sunfire are the two companies that compete for the online, non-face-to-face enrollment market. Both systems operate as a CRM. Both systems allow you to save, as an agent, to save drug and doctor's lists. And then you can quote and compare all the plans in any area, in any state. You can quote and compare plans that you're contracted with. You can also quote and compare plans that you're not appointed with. So it's a great way to see what's out there. The companies that you are appointed with, you can then enroll clients through that without a face-to-face using email and using text. You can do the same thing with the scope of appointment as well. So it's used a lot by people that do telesales, and it's used a lot by existing agents that want a free CRM and want a kind of a convenient way to enroll people or make enrollment changes to existing clients so you don't have to go out and see them. The newest platform we have is My Medicare Bot. That acts and looks and operates just like Connecture and Sunfire, but My Medicare Bot is a voice signature enrollment. So instead of needing to do a text or an email to enroll them, you can enroll them through voice signature. So My Medicare Bot's new. They don't have all the carrier approvals. They're just starting to get them slowly now. Whereas like Connecture and Sunfire has all the carriers basically. My Medicare Bot does not yet, but when they do, that will be really helpful for agents that just want to do pure voice enrollment using one platform for multiple companies. If you have any questions on those things, let me know. We have webinars going over all three of them. If you want to review, just send us an email. We also have our free lead marketing and advertising program that's been going for years now. That pays up to $500 per agent per month. You can use any company you want for leads, for marketing, for advertising. We don't care who you use. As long as it's being used to generate Medicare sales, and it can be anything. Maybe you expense towards doing seminars. We have a really good seminar program now, or expense towards advertising or a billboard. That's fine. All you do is take your paid receipt. You send us that receipt. We'll reimburse you 100% of your cost, up to $500 per month. Once you are on the program for 6 months, and it doesn't start, by the way, until you take your first reimbursement. But once you're on it for 6 months, then it goes to 50%, but we still pay you up to $500 a month. So in other words, after 6 months, when you hit month 7, if you send us a receipt for $500, you get $250. If you send us a receipt for $1,000, you'll get $500 from us. So that's ongoing. It doesn't reduce your commission at all. There's no minimums to start. One of the most recent lead programs we've done, and we've had success with, is our seminar program. So it's a program where a company will You got to find the venue, but the company will put people in the seats for you. And their T65 candidates is what they go after. And for attendance, they average 40 to 60 prospects for the meetings. And usually agents break the meetings up into 2 days. But working with them, they'll do all the registrations. You'll get a copy of all the registrations. They'll put the people in the seats, and then they will, and you can do follow-up calls. And to drive this attendance, they use mailers and they use Facebook to drive this attendance and get people in the seats for you. There's obviously an expense for using their services, but that's something that we are willing to co-op and pitch in towards to help, especially for the first few meetings. And usually if you get attendance from your 40 to 60, what we're seeing is people are enrolling on average anywhere from 12 to 20 people from these, sometimes a little more, usually not less. So program works really well. You can do it anywhere, and it can be done all year round. Okay, enough of that. So let's talk about the Eno Insurance. So we've provided Eno for years. For the first few years we did it, it was just through us basically with the rate we had gotten. But now we have a group discount rate. We have new billing options. It's done through Eno Insurance, and it's a lot more flexible than it used to be. So basically, the group Eno now, if you enroll in our Eno, I'll give you the prices in a little while. Any business you do that's connected with Crow, meaning any business with Crow as your upline, it's zero deductible, which is nice. The big difference now is our Eno, where in the past it only covered Crow products, our Eno now covers outside business deals. So if you're appointed with other uplines or direct, our Eno will still work and cover that. There is a deductible, however, though it's $1,500, which is still low. But that's the deductible for outside business, not through Crow. But it's a zero deductible when you're working with Crow & Associates or working with products that are through Crow & Associates. We don't have a group policy aggregate, which is nice. In other words, your aggregate is specific to you. Most Enos, or a lot of them, I should say, they share limits with other agents, so it really reduces the coverage of your aggregate limit on the Eno. With our policy, it's specific to you. There's no sharing. We have first dollar defense on the policy, meaning the deductible applies to lost payments only. So in other words, what that means is if you get a claim or sued and have to have an attorney to represent you, the cost for the attorney does not apply to the deductible, so you're not going to be out of pocket for that. The deductible would only apply for actual losses. So you are found guilty of that, that's a loss, then you'd have to pay your deductible, but not for legal costs. So that's a really nice feature. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to send them into the webinar and I'll answer them for you at the end. Okay, so our policy does have a retroactive date. So that's the date of the agent's first continuously maintained E&O policy. So if you move to our E&O, it will retro cover you back to when you first had E&O. Our policy also accepts B-rated carriers. Our old policy only went to A-. This one will accept B, which is nice, and that's AM best rated B carriers. And it will cover defense costs outside of the benefit limits as well. So meaning if your legal costs to defend yourself go outside of the limits of the benefit, you'll still have coverage for that. Big change for us is back when we were doing the E&O on our own, we only had a couple of options because we were handling the billing of it. So we only did annual or semi-annual payments. But now, since we're doing it through Eno Insurance, we have an annual, quarterly, or monthly EFT payment you can do. And the rates in the policy limits are flexible. I'll show that to you on the next slide. Apologize if it's a little hard to see, but we have multiple options. As you can see, our lowest cost one is low cost. It's $301 for the year. So $301 for the year, we really like that price point. That's $1 million. That is for Medicare producers. So that E&O policy will cover all Medicare lines of business and final expense only. Our other limits, everything else basically, the 396 level, whatever other level you want to see at B or level A, those policies will cover all lines of business. So they'll cover Medicare, final expense, life insurance, annuities, even Series 6 items. This does not cover P&C claims, however, so just make note of that. But so if you're a Medicare producer, you really just write Medicare, maybe some final expense here and there. Our level C is definitely what you would want at 301 for the year. But if you're writing multiple lines of business, such as Medicare, final expense, life, long-term care, annuities, maybe some Series 6 products, then you want to look at one of the other options. For example, maybe our level A at $1 million for $456 a year. Still a very good price point. And as you can see, the price changes based on the annual aggregate in each claim limit level on the policies. After this presentation, we'll email everybody a link. That'll be a kind of our group-sponsored link for our discount E&O. With that link, you can see the policy specimen. You can see the summary of benefits of the policy, rates. You could apply through that link if you'd like. So we'll send that out when we email everyone when we email you a copy of the presentation, or a link to it rather. As I mentioned, everything other than the 301 option covers life, health, Medicare, final expense, annuities, long-term care, and Series 6 products. The $301 a year option covers Medicare products, so Advantage, Supplement, PDP, and any other variation on an Advantage plan, and final expense, but it's limited to that on that option. I'm really happy now that we can have an E&O that does cover products you write outside of Crow, so maybe if you're doing ACA business, or maybe you just have some of your other contracts with other uplines, you can still use our E&O and it will have coverage. It'll have a $1,500 deductible, but most policies do for products you write outside of Crow, but products you have through us, you'll have no deductible at all. So nice product. Okay, I said I'd keep that quick. Like I said, first one of the year, so wanted to keep it light. Let's see if we have any questions. All right, it doesn't look like we have any questions. If you are taking a minute to type them in, I'll wait a few seconds here to see if anybody has any. Remember, on Thursday, we're going to do a webinar about how to use blogs to increase your SEO search on your website. That's how we built our agency. Crow & Associates is well optimized as far as recruiting agents, and we did that through blogs to grow our search results on Google. All homegrown. We did it all ourselves, so we didn't use a company for it, and I'm going to be talking about that on Thursday. Okay, at this point, it doesn't look like we have any questions, so I appreciate everybody for joining. I hope I see you on the webinar tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and I hope everybody has a great day. Thanks.